Hey everybody, it's Mike DeShazer here at ProofSuite in South Korea, and today I'm going to share with you an update from our CIO, David Van Isacker, and this is an update on AMP, our decentralized exchange. Now, decentralized exchanges have gotten a bad rap lately because their UIs stink, and the centralized exchanges are much more trustworthy looking, etc., and people prefer them, and also because they're not that decentralized. Part of being fully decentralized and everything is it has to be open source so everyone can see the code and everyone can just run that code and things can be put pretty much anywhere. So that's the case with our decentralized exchange. And we're putting a lot of thought into the UI, which you'll see. Now, granted, keep in mind that on the left side of the screen when David is showing you this is all of the individual components. And in the middle is actually what the UI looks like. So look at that. All of those pieces are now being put together. All right. So it doesn't like log in, sign up, and all these different modals, create wallet. They're not just going to be on the left side, but we're building it that way so it's flexible and easy to work with for developers. So David will take it from here and tell you a little bit more about that. Please enjoy.
Yeah, so these days with the EMP team, we're really pushing on the front end, trying to get everything looking as perfect as possible. Things, so trying to really come up with a really nice UI, and like actually trying to build like the first decentralized exchange that's usable and intuitive, with also a nice UI and good user experience. The reason for this is first, there's currently no platforms that like actually are intuitive, and the second reason is, if you think about it, it's like putting a lot of effort in the front end. In the long term, I think will pay off if Ethereum updates really quickly, and there's like new features being added to Ethereum every month, so you have to kind of update like all your work being done on the back end. But what's really staying in the long term is like how an exchange looks, your UI. So like how an exchange looks is never going to change. Like you're always going to have your buyer form, you're always going to have your charting components, and that's what kind of like doing here. So that like anybody who comes on our GitHub can just start contributing. So they could just like launch this server, basically, which is called Storybook. It's a React utility, and you can basically start inspecting which components we made. And so these are all like the things we created. So for example, you can see these are our icons here, where you have the MetaMask icon. Or if you want, you can check the OHLCB chart, which is not really finished yet, but you can see the charting is doing really good. And that kind of gives you like a really good overview. So that's our front end methodology. How do we, that's how you connect to different networks. So you could go to the testnet, for example, on Ethereum. You could just go to the mainnet, and you have different ways of connecting. You could connect with MetaMask. For example, creating a wallet. So this is our wallet creator. So it's basically one component, and so you create the password for your wallet, and it will create your wallet like this. So right now it's encrypted. The array is not exactly finished, like we will add some error messages, but that's basically it. And if you want to work on the EMP platform, this is actually really useful. You can just test every component, every part of a platform in isolation, which gets really useful if you actually worked on something before. And so this, there's a lot. It's always hard to make like an Ethereum transaction, and we want to make it really easy. So we've been working really hard on this. And it's basically, sometimes you have the problem, you don't really know if the address is right or not something. And we basically give you back error messages that say, oh, is this transaction valid, and how much gas do you need to do this? So this is something we've been working quite hard, and then you just send the transaction. And you have, I think, quite a nice UI compared to everything that exists at this point. So you just send one ether to this address, and you get transaction hash, everything you need to kind of follow transaction on Ethereum. The Ether token is used for trading fees in the same way that it's used on the DOX account. So this is, by the way, this is our testing chain. So we have, if you want to zoom in here, this is our private chain that we're using for testing. So this is why I have, 23,000 Ethereum, and of course it's not like real Ethereum. It's just fake Ethereum. Otherwise, I would have been very happy. But yeah, so this is just for testing and basically testing everything with a private chain, which makes it really easy. And of course, we don't have to pay Ethereum every time. And now we're just basically depositing all this Ethereum. And for this, you need a couple transactions. And that's basically, you just made a deposit. So I think compared to the existing deposit mechanism on like other decentralized exchanges, you always wonder like, how do you do this? Like, how do you actually, what do I have to send? We try to make it really easy on what are the different steps that you need to do. We always, by default, we tell you like you have to send this amount of Ethereum, and yeah, I think that's basically it.